This dog in a wheelchair saved a life. What he did next will leave you in tears. Before we begin, please subscribe to the channel. Your subscription means everything to us and is the only way to ensure that these heartwarming stories about incredible animals reach more people. It helps us continue our mission of sharing love and hope. So please hit that subscribe button now. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, life buzzed with the usual monotony. But in one small house, a remarkable story was about to unfold. Meet Max, a spirited golden retriever, whose zest for life was as palpable as the sunlight streaming through the window. Yet, beneath his playful demeanor, lay an undeniable struggle. Bound to a wheelchair after an accident that changed everything, Max faced each day with unwavering determination. On this particular morning, the air was heavy with tension. His owner, Sarah, a single mother, was battling her own demons: job loss, mounting bills, and a growing sense of despair. As she looked into Max's bright, hopeful eyes, she couldn't help but wonder if they were both fighting their battles alone. In that moment, their fates intertwined, and the world outside faded away, leaving only the bond between a girl and her dog. But what happened next would change everything. With each push of his wheels, Max was not just moving, he was searching. Searching for a purpose, a way to lift Sarah from the shadows. Little did they know, the power of their connection was about to ignite a spark that would transform their lives forever. The stage was set for an unforgettable journey, one filled with courage, love, and the unbreakable spirit of a dog who refused to give up. As the days turned into weeks, Max and Sarah became an inseparable duo, navigating their challenges side by side. Each morning, while Sarah struggled to get out of bed, the sound of Max's wheels rolling on the hardwood floor was a gentle reminder that hope was still alive. His jovial barks filled the house, a melody of devotion that echoed through the walls. In the neighborhood, whispers began to circulate. "Did you see that dog?" shopkeepers would murmur, leaning over their counters as they peered through windows. "He's always out there in that wheelchair. What's he waiting for?" Children would stop in their tracks, eyes wide with curiosity, their innocent minds spinning tales about the brave dog who seemed to possess an otherworldly sense of purpose. One sunny afternoon, as Sarah pushed Max through the local park, they encountered a group of children playing by the river. The laughter of the kids floated through the air like music, but Max's attention was drawn to something else, something lurking beneath the surface. His ears perked up, and his tail stiffened as he sensed a shift in the atmosphere. "Look, Mom," a little boy exclaimed, pointing towards the water. "That dog is acting weird." Sarah turned, her heart racing as she watched Max's wheels spin furiously. He was barking, urging her to move closer to the water's edge. "What is it, boy?" she asked, her voice echoing with concern. She followed his gaze, but all she could see was the glimmering surface of the river. Then, in a heartbeat, everything changed. A splash broke the surface and panic erupted in Sarah's chest. She squinted to see a small figure struggling against the current, a child. Without a second thought, Max propelled himself forward, his body moving with a fierce determination that belied his limitations. "Max, no!" Sarah screamed, fear clawing at her throat. But Max was already on a mission. The wheels of his chair dug into the grass as he dragged himself closer to the water, barking with desperation. "Help! Somebody help!" The children gasped, their laughter replaced by shouts of alarm. "He's trying to save him," one of them yelled, eyes wide with awe and fear. Max reached the water's edge, his heart pounding in rhythm with the urgency of the moment. With a final burst of strength, he lunged toward the struggling boy, using his powerful front legs to pull the child closer to shore. "Someone grab him!" Sarah shouted, her voice trembling as she rushed to help. Just as the child's head dipped below the surface, a group of parents rushed in, arms outstretched. Together they pulled the boy from the water, gasping for breath but alive, thanks to Max's bravery. As the crowd gathered, their eyes filled with gratitude and disbelief, Max's wheels spun furiously, his bark echoing with a triumphant joy. He may have been in a wheelchair, but in that moment he was a hero. "Did you see that?" an elderly man said, wiping away tears as he approached Sarah. "That dog saved that boy's life." Sarah hugged Max tightly, tears streaming down her face. "You did it, Max. You really did it," she cried, overwhelmed with pride and love. In the days that followed, the story of Max's heroism spread like wildfire through the community. News outlets picked up the tale, and suddenly, Max was no longer just a dog in a wheelchair. He was a symbol of hope, courage, and unbreakable spirit. Local shopkeepers began to leave out food for him. But Max wouldn't touch it, his heart set on something greater. What's he waiting for? Children whispered, their curiosity piqued. Some believed he was waiting for his lost family, while others thought he was guarding something precious. But what could it be? As Sarah watched the community rally around Max, she felt a spark igniting within her own heart. Their struggles were not just theirs to bear anymore, they had ignited a movement. Inspired by the support pouring in, Sarah decided to use this moment to advocate for pets with special needs, to show the world that love knows no bounds, regardless of a pet's challenges. If this story is touching your heart, make sure to comment from where you are hearing this amazing story, she urged, her voice filled with hope. Max had saved a life, but he had also awakened a spirit within the community, a spirit of empathy, love, and the belief that every being deserves a chance. As they embarked on this new journey together, Sarah and Max knew they were not alone anymore. They were part of something bigger, a family united by the incredible bond between humans and their furry companions. The stage was set for a new chapter, one filled with challenges, growth, and the unyielding love of a dog who had shown the world that even in the face of adversity, hope can triumph. As the days went by, Max and Sarah became local legends. Yet, within the warmth of their newfound fame, a shadow loomed. Not everyone in the community embraced them with open arms. One evening, as Sarah was cleaning up after dinner, she received an unexpected phone call. It was from Mrs. Henderson, a neighbor known for her sharp tongue and stern demeanor. Sarah, she began, her voice tight, I need to talk to you about that dog of yours. I can't believe you'd let a disabled animal around my grandchildren. What if he bites them? Sarah felt her heart sink. Max would never hurt anyone, Mrs. Henderson. He's a gentle soul. Gentle or not, he's still a dog in a wheelchair. You can't deny he's a danger. I've heard enough of the stories. What happens if he snaps one day? The words stung. Despite all the love and acceptance they had received, prejudice still lingered beneath the surface. It was a painful reminder that not everyone understood Max's bravery and spirit. That weekend, Sarah decided to clear the air. She organized a neighborhood gathering at the park, inviting everyone to meet Max and see his gentle nature firsthand. She hoped to bridge the gap between those who supported them and those who remained skeptical. As families gathered, children ran towards Max, their laughter echoing through the trees. Sarah felt a swell of pride as Max soaked in the attention, happily wagging his tail and receiving strokes from tiny hands. But as the sun dipped lower, Mrs. Henderson arrived, her expression unreadable. Are you sure this is a good idea? She muttered as she approached, arms crossed. Just give him a chance, Mrs. Henderson, Sarah replied, trying to keep her composure. Then, as if on cue, a sudden commotion erupted near the playground. A little girl no older than 5, had climbed too high on the jungle gym and was now frozen in fear. Her eyes darted around, panic setting in. Mommy, she cried, her voice breaking, and the crowd fell silent, all eyes glued to the scene. In that moment it was as if time stopped. Sarah's heart raced. She watched as Max, sensing the distress, began to wheel himself toward the playground. The crowd gasped in disbelief. What's he doing? Someone whispered. Max's determination was palpable as he maneuvered through the crowd, his wheels spinning with purpose. He reached the base of the jungle gym, barking to reassure the frightened child, his spirit unyielding. Max! Sarah shouted, fear gripping her heart. Stay back. But Max didn't listen. He was on a mission, his instincts guiding him. Look! A young boy shouted, pointing. He's trying to help her. As if responding to Max's encouragement, the little girl took a tentative step down, then another. The crowd held its breath. With each step, Max barked louder, urging her on. And just like that, she slid down the side of the jungle gym and landed safely on the ground. The crowd erupted in cheers, but Mrs. Henderson stood frozen, her lips pressed tightly together. A moment later, the little girl ran toward Max, throwing her arms around his neck. Thank you, puppy, she squealed, showering him with kisses. Tears of joy filled Sarah's eyes as she watched the scene unfold. But just as quickly she noticed Mrs. Henderson's expression shifting. For the first time, she saw a glimmer of understanding in the older woman's eyes. Maybe he isn't so dangerous after all, Mrs. Henderson murmured, almost to herself. Sarah seized the moment. Max isn't just a dog in a wheelchair. He's a hero. He's shown us all that disabilities don't define a being's worth or courage. The gathered crowd nodded in agreement, their support palpable. Max deserves a chance just like anyone else, one neighbor added, stepping forward. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Sarah felt a warmth spreading through her heart. It was a moment of transformation, not just for Max but for the community as a whole. But just when it seemed like acceptance was on the horizon, another twist awaited them. Later that week, Sarah stumbled upon a letter slipped through her door. It bore a familiar handwriting, her ex-husband, Jake, who had left years ago. "Sarah, I heard about Max. I want to see him. I want to make things right," the letter read. Her heart raced. Jake had never been part of their lives after the accident. What did he mean by making things right? Sarah felt a mix of hope and dread. As she contemplated the implications of this unexpected letter, she realized that the journey ahead would be filled with new challenges. Would Jake accept Max? Would he be able to see the love and courage that had transformed both her and Max? With the community's support growing stronger and Max's spirit igniting hope in so many, Sarah knew that they could face whatever came next. But she also understood that this revelation would force them to confront not only the prejudices of others but also the unresolved wounds of their past. As she looked at Max, his eyes sparkling with joy, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. Together they would navigate this new chapter, turning obstacles into opportunities and showing the world just how powerful love could be, no matter the challenges they faced. The stage was set for a confrontation that would test their bonds and their beliefs, a test that would reveal the true strength of their connection. Max had already saved a life, now it was time for them to save each other. As the days wore on, Sarah found herself grappling with the unexpected letter from Jake. It had been years since he had walked out of their lives and now, his sudden reappearance felt like a storm brewing on the horizon. She couldn't shake the conflicting emotions that swirled within her. Was this an opportunity for closure, or would it reopen old wounds? Max, sensing Sarah's turmoil, stayed close by her side, his warmth a reminder that they were a team. As he nudged her hand with his nose, she whispered, "You're my hero, Max. I don't know what I would do without you." In the quiet moments, she found solace in the bond they shared, one that had grown deeper through adversity and triumph. The day arrived when Jake was to meet them at the park, a place that had become their sanctuary. Sarah's heart raced, a mixture of anxiety and hope as she prepared for the encounter. Would he embrace Max as part of their family, or would his presence only serve to remind her of the pain of the past? As she wheeled Max toward their usual spot, her eyes scanned the area, searching for Jake. When she spotted him, standing awkwardly by the swings, her stomach churned. He looked older, wearier, but there was a softness in his gaze as it landed on Max. "Hey, Sarah," he said, his voice hesitant. I heard about what happened. I wanted to see him." Sarah nodded, her throat suddenly dry. "He's right here." She gestured toward Max, who seemed to sense the tension. His tail wagged slowly but he remained still, assessing the situation. Jake crouched down, extending a cautious hand toward Max. "Hey buddy," he said, his voice cracking slightly. "I've missed you." Max sniffed Jake's hand, then leaned in as if judging the sincerity of the man before him. Sarah held her breath, waiting for any sign of recognition or rejection. To her surprise, Max nuzzled closer, his trust unwavering. Tears welled in Sarah's eyes. "He's come so far since you left, Jake. He's a hero now." A flicker of shame crossed Jake's face. "I know I wasn't there for you both, but I want to change that." The words hung heavy in the air. Sarah's heart swelled with conflicting emotions. Could she really allow him back into their lives? "Max saved a boy from drowning," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "He's become a symbol of hope for so many people in this community. We've built something beautiful here." Jake nodded, listening intently. "I've heard about the fundraisers, the movement you started for special needs pets. I'm proud of you." As they spoke, the crowd that had gathered for the neighborhood's weekend picnic began to notice the reunion. Children ran up to Max, their faces glowing with admiration. "Look, it's the hero dog," they shouted, drawing others in. Sarah felt the warmth of the community envelop them, a reminder of the love and acceptance they had found amidst their struggles. It was a testament to what they had built together. "Max has changed lives," she said, her voice steady. "He's shown us that love knows no boundaries. But I can't pretend that everything can go back to how it was before." Jake's expression softened. "I understand. I just want a chance to be part of this life again, to support you both." At that moment, a little girl approached, her eyes wide with admiration. "Can I pet him?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Sarah smiled, nodding. "Of course." Max leaned down, allowing the girl to stroke his fur. A collective "ah" echoed from the crowd as they witnessed the interaction. The atmosphere shifted, tension giving way to acceptance. As Jake watched, a sense of realization washed over him. He's incredible, Sarah. I can see that now. In that moment, something shifted within Sarah. Maybe it was possible to allow Jake back into their lives, but only if he understood the depth of their bond and respected the journey they had taken together. If you want to be part of our lives, she said, her voice firm but gentle, you need to show that you're committed. Max and I have come too far to go back. Jake nodded, his eyes sincere. I promise. I'll do whatever it takes. With each passing moment, the bond between them began to mend. Not as a family but as a united front, willing to face the challenges ahead together. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in a warm glow, Sarah felt a sense of relief wash over her. The community surrounded them, a tapestry of support woven together by love, understanding, and the shared stories of heroic creatures like Max. Max, she said, looking down at her furry companion, you've shown us what true courage looks like. You've saved not just a life, but a family. In that moment, a ripple of applause erupted from the crowd, a heartfelt acknowledgement of Max's bravery and the resilience of their family. Thank you for sharing this journey with us, Sarah called out, her voice filled with gratitude. If this story is touching your heart, make sure to subscribe for more incredible stories like this one. As the sun dipped below the horizon, they stood together, Sarah, Max, and even Jake, united in their shared purpose. The road ahead would not be without challenges, but together they would face whatever came their way, proving that love and courage could conquer all. Max had not only saved a life, he had given Sarah the strength to forgive, to heal, and to embrace the future. And as they walked away from the park, wheels rolling on the pavement, a new chapter began, one filled with hope, love, and the unwavering spirit of a dog who changed everything.